Okay, let me remove my glasses to say this. Parents. 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 P-A-R-E-N-T-S. Mumetuangusha sana. The whole structure of a successful society trickles down back to the family. That is to mean, if parents don't own up their responsibilities, then a whole society is at risk. Nowadays, we hear about corruption, violence, rape, theft, and all the other vices in the society. And all these people who have done these things, one day they were young and they were babies. So my question is, what went wrong? And what did our parents not get right? And what can they do and learn? Talk about sensitive issues to their children. When I talk about sensitive issues, I mean sex, drugs, and dating. So like our parents don't talk about these things. The best they can do, when we are growing up, you find like most parents wanaambia mtoi wao ati nisikupate, nisikuone na huyo kijana, nisikuone na huyo kijana. Like wanachia hapo. See, parents don't talk about sex to their children, whereas it's a biological issue. Sex is a biological issue. And Tobias Van Schneider once said, if you don't do it, someone else will do it. So the problem I have with parents ni moja tu, niko tu na shida moja with what parents are getting it wrong. Parents are not talking about these sensitive issues to children. Sijui mnaogopa nini? Like they don't want to talk about dating. Your child mtoi wako amefika adolescence, he's experiencing it. There's some changes going through his body, which is natural, it's science. Sijui mbona unaogopa? What are you protecting your child from? This is a normal world. He or she is going through a normal biological experience and transition. So you need to walk with your child the journey. Another thing, the social media is a very powerful tool. Social media is a very powerful tool. So if you don't talk about these things to your child or your children or your son or daughter, if you don't tell them talk about these things, matters of sex, matters of dating, matters of drugs and abuse, if you don't talk to your child, let me tell you one thing, social media will tell them. The main goal of social media is to get money. Like those people who are in social media, the main aim is to corrupt the mind of someone and make them to buy their product. And what does social media nowadays portray? It's all about sex, drugs, and everything. So if you don't talk about these issues with your child, if you don't talk about these things, you'll get the inspiration from social media. And that's about parents. The problem with parents is that you have made your decision so rigid that we cannot convince you otherwise. Like umesema, I don't want you to date. Sitaki kuona mtoto wangu akitembea na vijana. Nini. You're just giving unapeana tu instructions without sitting with your child chini and allow your child to express himself or her so that you can grow with the child slowly understand your child very well. That's why utashangazwa. You're not talking about these sensitive issues. So social media will tell them, "Tuambenda bash." Ni sawa bwana, ni sawa. Okay, for a lady, atuna feel like you don't like men. Sikuna madam. That's why lesbianism is rampant nowadays. Gayism is rampant nowadays because social media has pushed it. And wako hapo unashtuka mtoi wako ni lesbian, unashtuka mtoi wako ni gay. Na uko like, what? Ati mtoi wangu, no. Because you're not talking with your child. You're not understanding your child. You're not talking to him. So he'll get inspiration from another place. Because if you don't do it, someone else will do it. Another thing, parents, we are in a different generation. Right now we are in Generation Z. Like you are millennial. One characteristic of people who are in Generation Z is that they are ever-present messaging and they are ever-present on the internet. Like during your time, there are no matters of internet. You are kuwa na stuff the mtandao and the internet. But right now, everything goes around the internet. Everything is all about social media. So be very careful. Be very careful because social media has taken a very big toll on raising up right now the youths that we see today. So if you don't talk about these things to your children, sensitive issues, talk about them. Understand how your child views the world. Give them opportunity to speak to you and don't get mad akisema vitu zingine. Msikize tu so that you can understand your child and grow up with them. And what I can tell you, let me finish by saying this. Listen more than you talk. Parents, listen to this. Listen more than you talk. Most of you are just out here talking, giving instructions. Fanya hivi. Sit down and listen to what your child is saying. Because if you don't listen, utapigwa na mshangao. Utafurahia. On to point number 2. The most important role of parenting is to love and nurture your child and to build in them a feeling of high self-esteem and confidence. But most parents have mistaken this notion and think that their children only exist to fulfill their expectations, or should I say their childhood dreams. Giving pressure to their children. Like most parents give a lot of pressure to their children like when they are growing up. So just because ulikuwa unataka kuwa daktari, yes, ikashindikana. You had your chance. Ulienda shule ukasoma. Sikupenda kwetu hukuwa daktari. Lakini sasa kwa nini take that burden and you give it to your child ati mtoto wangu lazima kuwe daktari, mtoto wangu lazima kuwe engineer, mtoto wangu lazima kuwe lawyer, just to prove a point and to fulfill your inadequacy. You had your chance, you did not take it. Why do you want to impose that thing to your child? There is a Buddha quote that says your purpose in life is to find your purpose in life and to give it your whole heart and soul to it. So you as a parent, your purpose in life, the reason you had that child is to give him the opportunity to express himself and to be the best of what he or she can be. Mwacheni kutupea pressure. Tunataka tujui tukue nini. You see, we are all different. Maybe your child wants to become a comedian. Unamwona hapo kwa nyumba anacheza unampiga kofi. Hata mchezo bwana, hata mchezo madaktari watembeange hivi. A person like Messi is the biggest football player around. And Messi started playing football when he was around 10 years old. And it's because his father saw this guy had a talent for playing football. He took him to an academy. The same with many football players. Right now, Messi is a very big player. He earns a lot of money and he has brought pride back to the family just because his family, his father, gave him an opportunity to go and play football. It's like, we all have different purposes. We all have different purposes. The road that you took as you personally as a parent is a very different road that your child will take. So support him. Whatever he wants to become in this world, give him the support. Even you never know. If he wants to get in politics, let him get into politics. If he wants to be an actor, if he wants to be a doctor, give him the support he wants. Yeah. What have I said? Invest in your child's desires. And you need to know that we all have different purposes in this world. Find which purpose your child has in this world and what he or she likes and support it as a parent. Because that's your role, to support your child to become the best out of himself, not the best out how you want him to become or how to become. And that's it. On to point number 3 and the last point.